Day.
Second podcast of the day. We're here for episode 38 of On a Bender podcast. We got AP, we got the Duke. How you guys doing today?
Doing fantastic. Nice little afternoon. We got some EPL games yesterday and this afternoon, so all is well.
Yeah, I'm excited. Aston Villa has a big game today against Arsenal. I don't think they're going to win, but it's always fun to watch my team play.
I think it's a very busy time in the soccer world. We've gotten some playoffs for Bender. We got midweek games from Premier League, and then another set of games this weekend. We got multiple Betting with Beverages podcasts. Seems like we're going to have multiple On a Bender podcasts this week, including probably a special in-person happy hour version on Friday with the Sawgrass Mafia. So busy week for On a Bender. I think first we're going to take a look back at the last weekend and even the start of this midweek games for some of our teams in Premier League and what else is going on outside of our team. So I guess yesterday, Aaron, we had Leeds United States was back on the block with the national game on USA. Two back-to-back now. They've slowed down a little bit though. So what's going on there?
Yeah, so Leeds had a couple games. So last weekend they were up against Brighton, who's kind of been the surprise, another surprise team within the EPL. A tough 1-0 loss away, but overall still a fun team to watch. I don't know if you guys caught any of that game. It's still awesome to see Aronson and Adams getting starts and minutes and all that. Just leads into a good thing for the U.S. men's national team going into the World Cup. So tough result, but still fun to watch on the weekend. And then yesterday, midweek game, they were up against Everton, who's kind of a funny one for me because they've been, they've had varying degrees of success over the last years, and now they seem to be in a really tough spot. Fighting, it seems like they're going to be fighting relegation all year. So looking to get points off of them at home and ended up as a 1-1 tie with an assist from Aronson. So, the interview from Jesse Marsch after the game was, you could tell he was disappointed, but he was also, he said, I think he used the word excited about his team, probably 4 or 5 times in the interview. So I think that's the perfect word to describe the team and how probably most American soccer fans feel, even if you're not a direct, Leeds United fan. It's just cool to see, players getting minutes.
I think there's multiple things for me. I've watched most of their games. I was actually at the dentist's office yesterday, and since it was on USA, I was able to have it up on the screen. Wasn't able to see the Chelsea game, but I think, Jesse coaches with a lot of passion. I think that's what you see with their team, especially at home. So that's exciting to see. I think Aronson obviously is one of their best players. He's playing really well. I think Rodrigo going down, Bamford being, in and out is definitely troubling for them. I saw they're trying to potentially selling Daniel James to some teams that are interested. So it's interesting to lose a forward or a top guy during this time if they that. But Tyler Adams, talk about a guy playing maybe one of the top 1 or 2 or 3, holding midfielders there in the Premier League right now. I think a lot of teams are wishing they ponied up that $20 million for him.
I totally agree with that. He's one of those guys in terms of fantasy. We talk about fantasy a lot. He's probably the worst fantasy player because he's going to get you 2 points every game. He's going to start. He's probably going to play 90 minutes, but he's probably not going to get many assists. He's probably not going to score many goals. But if you watch him run, he is all over the field, and he's so good. He picks up his yellow cards, but he's so good at just hounding guys. Like, he will track people all over the field. If you just watch him and just wherever the ball's at, if you just watch Tyler Adams, he covers so much ground in the midfield. It's pretty incredible. So he's fun to watch.
I'm extremely happy that Leeds is sort of all over the news and sort of all in the media of the U.S. because I even have friends that don't even watch a lot of soccer, and they're like sending me clips of and sort of news articles and stuff about Leeds, and it's fun to see sort of excitement coming from people that live in the U.S. about soccer for an English Premier League team. It's kind of funny. I just saw a comedian the other day talking about how a lot of people in the United States don't like to watch soccer, and their reasoning is that it's low scoring and boring. But if you think about it, like, this is coming from a fan base that their favorite sport is the NFL, right? And if you think about the NFL, a lot of the points are just made up fantasy points. So when you score a touchdown, it's worth 6 points. Like, that's not real. Like, you didn't win 21-14, you won 3-2, right? So, I mean, sure, if we made a soccer goal worth 10 points, then yeah, they would be high scoring. But it's fun to see Leeds getting the amount of hype that they're getting right now.
Yeah, and for those of you who've been EPL fans in the past, there's been probably like early, I want to say in the early like mid to late 2000s. There was Fulham was like the place where all the Americans went. Clint Dempsey was there, Carlos Bocanegra was there for a while, a couple blasts from the past. Clint Dempsey also had a good run there. So. It's not totally new, but it's cool to see in the current EPL, and just kind of the young Americans that are around, not just the EPL, but kind of throughout Europe. I think that's a little bit unprecedented. So
it's crazy to see.
It's cool to see with EPL because you get so much coverage and you can watch, through Peacock and NBC. They do an awesome job. You can watch any game, practically anytime.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that Ream and Anthony with Fulham and Adams and Aronson with Leeds are playing, minutes and minutes more than probably the best player of the group in Pulisic at Chelsea right now.
Yeah, that's a good segue. Tell me, tell me about Chelsea the last couple games.
I mean, obviously they snuck out the man down victory over Leicester at home on Saturday, 2-1. Barely held on at the end there, and then just went on the road, and betting with beverages. We talked about the home teams on these midweek games maybe has the advantage. And Chelsea went up 1-0 early with Sterling's nice patient goal there in the box. And then Southampton came back pretty quick. And I missed the second half at the dentist office, but from the quick highlights I saw, it didn't seem like they really got too many, solid chances even to get back and level it, to be honest. I think it's a weird team right now. I think there's so many transfer rumors and things, people coming in and out. They're not really sure what the team's going to look like, and I think the transfer window ends tomorrow. Fofana's finally practicing with the team, so hopefully he gets in there in the next game and solidifies that back 3 or 4. I guess depends on what goes on. The midfield, I think, is the weak point right now. You got Kovacic coming off an injury, Conte's injured. Loftus-Cheek is having to play a lot. Jorginho just is like captain back pass. I feel like all he does is get the ball and a good back pass to Silva is the only thing he does, it feels like. And then Mount and Havertz in 5 games have had 0 goals and 0 assists, and yet Pulisic can't even get a start to try to do something differently, which you could tell he was frustrated. I don't know if you saw the video. He walked straight off the field after the game yesterday and didn't, shake any hands or high fives when the rest of the team was out there in the middle. Pulisic just went straight to the locker room. So, because he got 20 minutes at right wing back from what I heard. So
it's got to be so frustrating for him. Just seeing first how his team's doing, and they're struggling to get wins. So you feel like Tuchel will at least switch the line him up a little bit and get him in there, but it seems to just be like he's plastered on that bench and just getting minutes in the second half. So it's got to be super frustrating for him.
He loves Havertz, and Havertz is a good player, but the guy just doesn't do it. I don't know. He misses opportunity. Like if Pulisic missed an opportunity, people were going crazy at him. Havertz does it, and nothing happens.
Didn't Havertz do well last year, though? I feel like he was always in fantasy.
He's known because he had that big goal in the Champions League that helped him win the 1-0 Champions League final. But then, since then, he hasn't. I mean, if you look at the per 90 minutes stats, actually, Pulisic's probably their best forward or winger either way. But he doesn't get as many minutes. And Sterling's playing well. Nothing he can do about there.
Yeah, he's on fire.
Yeah, I think you just got to give someone. Even bring in was it Broja, who's back in the team? He's barely getting any minutes. At some point through 5 games, when your forwards aren't doing anything, you got to try something else. I would think. But
yeah, and I think you mentioned yesterday, Ziyech gets into the into the lineup, and it's just like, what does Pulisic have to do? Like, I feel like Loftus-Cheek is constantly playing. I don't really know what his best position is, but he finds a way in the lineup, and Pulisic just can't. So
yeah, and like I thought, Pulisic had a meeting with Boley and Tuchel and Berhalter, I think, recently, and I thought coming out of that, because they said Pulisic was staying, that they figured something out. But it seems like the latest news is that essentially they told him he's not going anywhere, even though he wants to. He's just stuck and he's not happy about it. So,
yeah, it's I get.
So I have a good segue to get into Aston Villa really quick. So, have you seen news that Zaha might be looking to go to Chelsea?
everybody's basically rumored with Chelsea at this point.
So this is what's like frustrating to me as an Aston Villa fan. I feel like all these top tier club teams, whether it's Liverpool or Man City or Chelsea, I mean, they're all like making these moves and getting these players that when you think about them getting the player, you're like, wow, that's a really good player, and I would really, really want them on my team. Aston Villa let Grealish go. They didn't want to pay him. Well, maybe they did want to pay him, but he still wanted to play championship club football. So he leaves. But then, some of the players that they sign, are they super exciting? Not really. So it's kind of frustrating to see these other clubs like trying to make moves for players, and just looking at Zaha at the beginning of this season and how many goals he has. And I don't know if you saw his goal yesterday. It was really sick. If you look at the highlight, he just beat a defender to the inside and just kind of like just placed it around the keeper on the backside and basically almost hit off the post. Beautiful goal. But you have these teams and you have these clubs that are going out and they're actually getting these players that are really going to make a difference for their club. And the thing is that Aston Villa doesn't do that. So that's why I'm like, this is a perfect segue, because I think that's why we're just sort of struggling right now. We're not, I think we're in 15th place. I think it is 16th place. And we got a lucky win over Everton. Everton probably should have won that game. They had a lot more chances than we did, which will put us at the bottom of the barrel. So it's tough to get super excited for games. Our next two games are Arsenal and then City. So yeah, I'm seeing the writing on the wall, and I see
Arsenal game this afternoon. That's Arsenal's the cream of the crop in the EPL right now. What do you think?
Yeah,
I feel like with this game set up, it's like Aston Villa's struggling, Arsenal's on this high, just the way the EPL season's going.
Villa wins.
Yeah,
Travis is going to be so mad.
I won't make it the lock of the week, because that's another show. But
I already made Arsenal lock of the week, and I have not hit one lock of the week. So I think because I chose Arsenal get the lock of the week, I basically I doomed them.
Yeah.
So we lost our long shots. We already lost my parlay, so we're on the same track. Or at least we're consistent. Yeah, looking ahead to this afternoon, I guess. Yeah, we got Arsenal at home versus Villa, Bournemouth and Wolves, Man City, Forest, West Ham, Spurs, which is my double whammy play of the week with the Spurs, and then Liverpool, Newcastle, all within 30-minute start times of each other. So, what are you guys going to be watching?
I'm interested in the City game because I've got some fantasy players who I hope will start for Man City. One in particular. And I know that Man City likes to rotate a lot. Pep likes to rotate his players, so I'm hoping that Haaland is in that lineup. If not, it's going to could be a tough fantasy week for me. And then I think the Liverpool Newcastle game sticks out to me.
Yeah, I'm sort of involved in all these games from a betting with beverages standpoint. So I'll be watching. I'll have multiple games on my TVs. I have TVs throughout the house, so I put on different games, and then I'll just walk from room to room to room to sort of see what's going on. But I mean, I think what's that?
They've got remotes, so you can change the channel on the TVs, right?
Yeah, but it's so much. I mean, it's easier to walk like 10 steps and then just look in the master bedroom and say, "Oh, that's the score," instead of like messing with the remote. I don't know. I use Amazon Fire Stick, so sometimes I feel like there's some lag.
Look inside Luke the Duke home life.
I don't know. I'm actually paying attention to a bunch of them. Right? I think Wolves at Bournemouth is going to be interesting. Obviously, Bournemouth just got mollywopped by Liverpool. Do they have a new manager bounce back game? I know that was something that we talked about a lot last year. I don't know. I don't know if Bournemouth has it. I know Wolves have a good defense, but I think that'll be an interesting game at Bournemouth. I think if it was at Wolves, it would be hands down Wolves win, but it'll be interesting to see. Plus, Wolves haven't been scoring a lot. The City game, I think that's going to be. I think they're going to handle Nottingham Forest, especially playing at home. You know, this whole Villa Arsenal game, I'll obviously be keeping an eye on that because it's my team. But interestingly enough, there were two of their defensive midfielders on the Arsenal team are out. So how is that going to impact, Villa's ability to score and giving them more opportunities? I don't know. We'll see. And then, to be honest, I'm looking at West Ham and Tottenham as well. I mean, I think West Ham has had an absolutely horrible start, but their team is very similar compared to last year. So could this be a game? And like you said, every single game this year has kind of been like throwing people off. Like you have Liverpool tying teams, you have Man City tying, Newcastle. Like things are just like happening like that we don't expect because of whether it's transfers of players, changes in coaches, a lot of different sort of schemes going on. So I think that might be a game to watch. Do I think Tottenham wins? Yes, but at the same time, like West Ham could come out of nowhere and maybe pull an upset.
Say it. Just don't say it.
I don't think they're going to. I'm just saying, based on what's happened this year in the EPL, it honestly would not surprise me at all.
Yeah. I mean, Liverpool-Newcastle is the best game, I think, easily. I'll be watching Spurs because I think another loss on our bet of the week is going to be troublesome for betting with beverages going forward. To be honest, we need something.
We need the W.
Yeah, and I think Wolves Bournemouth is like a 1-0 game. I think Arsenal Villa, it's 2-0, 3-1, and potentially Man City could be 6-1 for all we know.
That could be another 9-0 debacle.
And
depends if Halaand starts.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Which I noticed a lot of people captain him.
I did. A lot of people captain. I was looking at the Premier League website, and they said it was, I think, one of the highest captaincies for the week, and it was. I think everybody going Haaland. So
Pep was quoted saying, someone asked him if he's going to be playing, and he's like, "You'll see tomorrow" or something like that. So
yeah, he doesn't give anything up.
Oh, he better play. I'm gonna be so mad because I'm going to just captain him all season long, like people did with Salah last year. But it's funny to see how many people didn't captain him last week, and now everyone's like, "All right, we're going over here."
Right. So I think we can go. I mean, there's Leicester Man U tomorrow, but that's kind of a dud. So I think we can segue that into fantasy. So speaking of Haaland, I have Jesus as my vice captain in case Haaland doesn't play, and I do have 5 points with Aronson as the first bench slot. So I guess not great if Haaland doesn't play against a weak team, but at least I know there's 5 points coming in versus a 0 or 1.
Nice.
Worst case scenario in this situation is he doesn't start and he doesn't get a quality 60 minutes to put in some goals, but then they bring him on as like a super sub at the end time, with 20 minutes left just to get some playing time to continue to play with the team and work on chemistry because he is new to City. Because that would be awful because then he's going to keep the captain armband because he actually played minutes. Yeah. So if he comes on at the end and doesn't get a goal, then you're only looking at 2 points or whatever he gets. So I'm really hoping that that's not the case, and I think that's what people are currently fearing.
Yeah. Luke, you had a really good week last week, I think, right?
Almost last week, right?
Yeah, I honestly thought that I was going to get it. I had looking at my actual roster. I probably should have moved some things around, but I had Matty Cash, aka my jersey, and Emmy, starting, and they, it was 0-0 against West Ham, and West Ham got a really lucky goal, and so they both had their points were given the clean sheet stats. So I think they had 8 points of clean sheet. And then when they scored, those 8 points were taken away. I only lost by 2. So that West Ham goal really hurt me because Villa lost, didn't get that point, and also killed my chances in fantasy. And then the guy that I was playing against in fantasy, the last person that he had was Harry Kane, and he needed, I don't know, 7. He needed 8 points to win. So I'm like, he needs 2 goals, like 2 goals or 1 goal and assist, and of course he gets 2 goals. So that was very frustrating to watch. But I'm pretty happy because last year when I took over fantasy, I mean, I really had no idea what I was doing. I was using free hits. I was using wild cards. I triple captain Emmanuel Denis for Watford, which was just an absolute awful triple captain. He got a red card in the first game of his double game week. So I think I ended up with like 3 points total. It was really, really bad. But this year I feel like I have a better grasp on how to play and how to be patient with your team. Because after not this past week, but the week before, I didn't put up a lot of points. And I said, you know what? I feel like Liverpool's got to bounce back. I have Van Dijk and I have Trent on my defense. I'm going to keep captaining, Halaand because I think he's going to have a good game at some point. And then sure enough, everyone on my team sort of, did very, very well. So sometimes it's not about chasing points in fantasy and going after players just because they're playing well, because then all of a sudden, boom, you transfer them into your team. And then all of a sudden, then they lay a goose egg and you're like, well, why did I just do that? So sometimes it's better to just stay patient. It's a long season. There's 32 games. So just kind of, we all know who's going to be putting up points. So just maybe stick with your team and be a little bit patient.
That's great because if Luke's fantasy team is only playing 32 weeks, then I think everybody else plays 38. So he's probably missing out on 6 game weeks. So it's even better for the rest of us.
I only need 32 to beat you guys. That's all.
You only need 32 weeks to get to number 1.
I didn't realize it was 38.
20 teams.
See, that's how new I am to BPL.
That's hey. Whatever you're doing is way better than my fantasy team recently. So I made some moves. I picked up Haaland. I took a 4-point hit to move some guys around this week. So with all that being said, that's what makes me almost certain that he'll not start today. Just because I picked him up. So that's where I think I'm at.
Just like Reece James, but at least he got the 6 points coming off the bench there.
Yeah. And Reece James hurt us a little bit, and
you have 12 points on your bench currently, actually.
Yeah, but yeah, some moves were made, so that's when you know that things are definitely going to go sideways. But also got Martinelli and Jesus in the lineup, so it's good. There he is.
Mr. Hicks.
Hicks in the house.
How we doing, boys?
Captain Newcastle.
See, I told you he loved fantasy. Like we started talking about fantasy soccer, and all of a sudden he joins the podcast.
That's how to get me in here.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to talk Newcastle previewing the game we have coming up today. So
Yeah,
you did that a little bit already.
I think that's the most exciting game today, though. We touched on it a little bit, but that's the one that kind of sticks out. Where Liverpool,
I would be much more excited if I didn't know ASM and Callum Wilson and our new forward are not playing. That means I have to probably at least see 70 minutes of Chris Wood.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Liverpool coming off a 9-0 win.
9-0 win. So they are hot. And the other thing I'm not looking forward to, it's a lot of things, but us missing ASM and Wilson are devastating. And then Bruno, I haven't checked lately. I don't think he's going to be in the lineup.
Oh man, I didn't realize he had so many injuries.
Yeah, he got a knock on that Wednesday game. A niggle, a knock, but somebody said it was his hamstring too. It was like we had 5 hamstrings because Trippier's playing, but he at the end of the last game had kind of his hamstring was getting a little tight. I'm like, what are they doing at Newcastle with their hamstrings?
You got contagious hamstrings over there.
Yeah.
Like, Isaac is potentially going to play though. His work permit went through.
Oh really?
It went through. So they were saying that this morning, like everyone's like, I hope it goes through.
Yeah.
I say starting.
Might as well.
I don't need to see any more Chris Wood. I know what Chris Wood's about. I don't need to see any more of that.
Well, that's what I'm like. If you pay, what was his transfer fee, like 70, or was it more than that?
No, I think it's it's not more than 70. I don't think
70 million. You pay that much for a player, like you're going right to my team. Like there's no
get him in there. Well, especially when it's him starting over a Chris Wood. I mean, it's one thing if Wilson was in, I would say okay, but come on. So yeah, that's exciting. Well, look at here, news is already.
Days already.
It's already good.
He's $7 million in
Haaland
fantasy.
Is he on the bench for fantasy? Haaland starting?
Yeah, that was my big question. That's what I'm waiting for the one.
Aaron just picked him up for fantasy, so he's probably going to be sitting.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll sit. I captained him. I
think around to take a -4 to get him, so that makes me think that he's either he'll probably get a hamstring or something in warm-ups, or either be starting the bench.
Thank God you didn't bring. I almost made. I still have Mount on my team. I almost transferred out Mount for Rodrigo, and then transferred. I had the Leicester defender. I was going to transfer in Dunk for Brighton because I felt so good about Brighton keeping the clean sheet. Yeah. And thank God I didn't do that because Dunk got -1 and Rodrigo got 1. Yeah. So I would have had a big fat 0.
I almost did the same.
Well, I know a lot of people did.
Yeah.
I almost did the same with Dunk. I ended up putting in Cucurella, but he only had 1 because Chelsea sucks. So,
yeah, Chelsea. I'm sure y'all talked about that, but God, I'm to the point where it's not free Pulley. It's like fire Tuchel. If I was, I can't stand it. I've never liked the guy, and now it's just getting worse. It's like he blames everything else but himself.
Yeah.
If you can't win with the players Chelsea has, then you need to take a hard look in the mirror. Like, good grief.
Well, I was saying it's like Havertz and Mount have 0 goals and 0 assists through 5 games. It's like, why not start somebody else? Like, give it a try.
Yeah.
Change it up.
Pulisic looked terrible. I don't know if I'm sure you did,
He's
Alex.
playing right wing back though.
Yeah, like it's almost like he's setting him up for failure. He's not letting him play and then throws him in at the end of the game. So I'm like, man, it's just you hate to see it though. Anyway, so not to pour salt on already. Yeah, Chelsea's not in a good place, but I think in my eyes it's because of Tuchel. Get his ass out of there.
Yeah, he's interesting. I mean, I think they got Fofana's going to play next game, so hopefully that helps the defense. And they just got and then he's blaming all their midfielders. Like, I don't know why we have so many injuries in our midfield. It's like, I mean, it just happens sometimes. You just figure it out. So, but they're trying to sign everybody as well. They still want Gordon from Everton. They want Aubameyang, who now has a broken jaw from that robbery. They want some $90 million defender from Leipzig, potentially.
I mean, if you're a Ford, though, would you at some point you got to be? He's like a Ford killer. I don't know that you'd want to play for him.
I agree.
I mean, Lukaku and I don't know. So
they'll be an interesting team to watch, especially the next couple of weeks. Especially, I guess, the next couple of days with the transfer window closed and see who ends up with Chelsea and
right.
Yeah, it's interesting time for kids.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for a lot of us. Newcastle still got apparently Eddie Howe. It's like they don't even drip who we're after. Like Isak came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping maybe a couple more by tomorrow come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But we need some help. So where y'all at?
Yeah, what moves have you made in your fantasy?
I don't want to start doubling up.
What moves have you made in your fantasy squad, Kevin?
So I made none. So I wanted to get rid of Mount the week before last. I didn't. And then this week I had 1 free transfer. And I almost pulled the trigger bringing in Rodrigo. And then it was Justin is who I had with Leicester. He was like my cheap defender, but I could have upgraded him to Dunk. But I didn't. I was like, it's going to cost me 4 points. And I started looking at, like, what are the chances that Rodrigo outscores Mount and then Dunk, and I increase it by over 4. So I was like, I'm just going to sit tight, roll my transfer, see what happens. And then Mount gets me an assist. He did have an assist on the Chelsea. So I don't have anything. I'm rolling into next week with 2 free transfers. I did put the armband on Haaland, so I was hoping he was playing, but I got the Vice on Sala, so it really doesn't matter if he doesn't play. Andreas is my first sub for Fulham. So I get those 6 points if Haaland doesn't play, but he'll come on late. I doubt he's not going to play the full 90, so it'll actually probably screw me. But yeah, that's where I am. Had a good week last week, so I had some green arrows. I'm like 25th now, but I'm still way down there.
Yeah,
I'm ahead of Graham and Travis, so I got that going.
And you're right by Aaron and I. It seems like
we're right. We're right all in the mess.
I was like second after week one. I was second after week one, and I just dropped the last few weeks.
Yeah, we're all just above the relegation.
It's a long season. 32 weeks for some of us, 38 for others. But
yeah, I thought there was 32 weeks. Apparently, there's 38. So
Luke, yeah, 38. Yeah,
that's how annoying I am at EPL. But no, I was to your point. Like, it's good sometimes to just be patient, right? So you were going to transfer people out. I was actually going to play a free hit, and then I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, it's only week going into week 5. I'm like, I don't need to do this now, because what happens if there's 3 people on my team that get injured all in the same week? I'm going to need a free hit, or I'm going to need something to make sure that I don't put up a 15-point week. And you also have to think, with the amount of people that are in the league, at some point, someone may forget to set a lineup, a.k.a. Travis, right? You're going to have people that are hurt. You're going to have people that are just not paying attention. And then that's how you slowly start to climb. So people that are actually continually paying attention to their team, I think, you'll just slowly climb up, and then you'll be, in the hunt for the top 5 positions.
Well, they say, you're exactly right. Be patient. They say to treat every transfer like it's going to cost you 4 points, So when you start thinking of it like that, that's why I rolled the transfer. But yes, people like Travis. I mean, I think it was week 9 until he finally realized that Aubameyang was not playing in the Arsenal squad last year, and he still had the armband on him. So, I mean, he finished in the top 10 doing that, and now he's making moves every week, and he's like 28. So there, go figure. Maybe he had it right the first time. Just let it roll.
Yeah, and I this week I was about to make 2 moves because I wasn't feeling good with my keepers. I got Pope against Liverpool and Ward against United, but ultimately didn't want to waste the extra transfer, so I just put Ward in, just thinking Newcastle might have a tough day with Liverpool. He could have a lot of saves too. I guess you never know.
I was going to say he'll have a lot of saves, but he'll probably also give up 3 goals.
So I ended up putting Kukurea in. That was my one move. So I have him and Koulibaly from Chelsea. Trippier, he seems like he's going to play, even though he has the knock on him. And then Aronson coming off the bench in case Haaland, I guess, doesn't play. There's 5 points I was saying earlier. So at least there's some points coming in. So it sure feels like Alvarez is going to get some minutes today, potentially, for Man City. So
yeah, that's who Pep really been talking up. So that's how about Aronson, that Leeds game? Y'all probably talked about it, but I saw Adams in the interview called out the coach. He was just like, it's one thing to time waste. Like Everton's known to time waste. It's one thing to time waste, but they were time wasting in the first half. Like, man, come on, the first half, and they started time wasting. I loved, Marsh was like getting all upset. It was almost like him and Lampard were about to start going at it. Yeah, it was.
I think Marsh is
like it's the first half.
I think Marsh has tried to fight every coach so far.
I love it.
He's so fired up in the sidelines. He's like, he wants to play the ball boy. He wants to actually play in the game. He's like all over the place. That was.
Speaking of time wasting, did you guys see what happened in the Benders 30 game? They were time wasting so bad in the first half when they were winning.
That is true. It was
and I literally
early on they had a kick in on the side, and one guy walked over and was going to take it. Then another guy walked over and he's like, "No, I'll take it." And we're like, "Come on!" we just started the second half.
Yeah,
but the funny part is that I told the ref, I said, "Hey, these guys are wasting time." I'm like, "It's still the first half. This isn't second half. It's not a close game. It's just they need to continue the pace." So he's like, "I'll keep an eye on it." And then sure enough, he called the guy out. He said, "You do this again, you're getting a yellow card."
Yeah.
And then he started arguing with the guy. I'm like, "What do you mean? You told the one guy to go take the free kick, off the sideline. And then when he's about to go take it, then you said, 'Oh, no, I got it.' that's classic time wasting in itself. So I just think it's funny that they were doing that, and they actually got in trouble for it.
Karma's a bitch, as they say.
Well, it's funny, speaking of time wasting, like Crystal Palace, they went up and then they went to like this prevent defense, and I don't know if you saw Zaha kind of said he didn't like the strategy, which I'm sure the manager will have a closed door discussion with Zaha about that comment that he made because it's going viral on social media. But it made me think, like, instead of taking that whole time wasting, lock it up in the back and just go to a prevent defense, right? Mode just to keep attacking. Like Zaha said that he wanted to get the second to put it away. You see it all the time with football that when you go to a prevent defense, you're just asking for it for them to march it down the field. You see it in soccer a lot, and Aaron obviously would know a lot more than I do, being the actual real coach on this podcast. But it is like going into a time-wasting defensive mode. I don't like it because it's just so opposite of me. I would probably attack to a default. But I do think it backfires more than it probably helps, but I guess it's hard to prove that. Yeah, the time wasting sucks for the spectator. I know that it absolutely sucks for the spectator. So that's what matters the most, right?
From like the Everton perspective, I understand because I think we touched on it earlier that they're just in a battle. I think just to try to get any points all year long, I think they're going to really be in the basement for most of the year and potentially be relegated. But I kind of understand from the coach's standpoint. He's just like, whatever it takes to get these points. Like if we have to stall and
guys start stalling the last 70 minutes.
Like, as soon as Gordon scored, they're like, all right, let's take it easy. There's 70 minutes left. So let's try to get out of here with some points.
Because it was like the 18th minute that he scored, right?
Yeah.
I hate prevent defense. I hate subbing people off. Like it's your team that got you the lead in the first place. Like just do it for another 15 minutes. Do it for another 20 minutes. Try to go for that second goal because that's what got you to that point. Once you start making all these subs, you have guys coming in off the bench, right? They might not be happy with their lack of playing time, so they might not be putting in the amount of ferociousness into the game. They're just kind of like, I'm just getting subbed down for the last couple minutes. And they might not be going for every 50-50 ball with the same intensity that their teammates were that were playing the entire game. I can't stand it. As a Buffalo Bills fan, 13 seconds is all I have to say. Okay,
Yikes.
Right? You go into prevent defense. It fails more than it succeeds, at least based on what I see. When I see teams that either get tied or lose, when they go into that prevent defense, it's just it's crazy.
So sorry, I brought that up.
You're really
too early.
Touched on hard
You
there.
tripped a nerve. I just was like, oh man.
I forgot the Bills. I shouldn't have brought that up. That's a little too soon still.
Different sport, but same concept, right? It does. I don't think it works that well. I understand that they're like, if we press, they might have a counter, but just play possession with the players on the field that are actually got you into this winning position.
Yeah, agreed. But going back to our Bender weekend, we've got some exciting news for both teams, 30s and 40s.
We do. Tonight's a big night. Tonight is semifinals.
Semifinals for the 40s. So I think our last podcast we were going into the quarterfinal game, and Kevin, give us a little recap of what went down.
Quarterfinal game. We played Jack Storm, a good team. They played well. We went down 1-0. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. No, we didn't. I'm wrong. Sorry. So let's see. We went up. Gosh, I don't know. Anyway, they got a red card.
Feedback?
We were up 1-0. Yeah. Then they got a red card on Reimer. On Phillip. The guy already had one. Yeah, already had one yellow card on Phillip. Then got the second yellow card on Phillip because Phillip would get the ball and the guy would just crash into him. But then he didn't get the second yellow card for that. When Phillip went to get up, the guy shoved him back down and kind of kicked the ball at him. So pretty easy second yellow. That was in the first half. So we're up 1-0. My knee was not in a good place, so I subbed out thinking we were in a pretty good place, but it got kind of dicey. Alex was there. They scored in the second half, right?
Yeah,
they tied up before
Parlay
the
and
half?
McPeterson were there.
That's right. Parlay was there.
Yeah, they came back. They tied it, and then you guys got the weird little bounce header to is it CK or Brian put it
CK.
away? CK did.
Yeah.
CK
that was
scored
CK.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a little –
I was actually looking at today's game, just sort of seeing who you guys had and see where they're sort of ranked on the I guess the year-long standings or the season standings.
Yeah.
The team that you actually played last week, their name was Interjacks. They actually had the most goals scored in the season with 34 goals.
I did remember
that team could definitely they could score. And I think the fact that they got a red card definitely didn't help them out in that case. But now you guys play a team that's ranked in the second of the standings, and they can score too. So you guys are definitely going to have to bring the juice. You're going to have to bring the defense and make sure that they don't get any easy goals.
Yeah, we know this team. We played this. They've been kind of our rivals forever. They play. They have a forward that can really punish you really quick. So it'll be a good game tonight. I'm hoping my knee holds up. I took Sunday off so that I could play in the semifinal. I figured the 30s would prevail. It was a close one, but got through it. So I'm going to try to give it a go again tonight. So we'll see.
Here we go. What sort of lineup we have? Is everyone available?
Yeah, we got it looks like the full roster. Phillip might be a little late, but he's coming. So it'll be CK's in, Shane's in, Graham's in, Reimer's in.
CK's just banging in goals left and right. He scored on the last Wednesday, and then he had two on the over 30s game on Sunday.
He is. He's in a hot streak.
He's flying high. His fantasy team's doing well in EPL as well. He's in like top 5. So it's
absolutely
all coming up CK right now.
Taking care of that third heel.
Yeah.
His actual fantasy, his actual team, his actual EPL team is doing absolute garbage. But he's making it up in other areas.
Yeah, the Villa conversation's been a little light this season on the text thread.
Yeah, Villa's. Gosh, they're looking like they're in trouble.
Over 30s, we have.
You know what his comment was the other day? Because I sent him a side message and I said, I'm like, Villa's in big trouble. I'm like, if we lose to Arsenal and then to City, we're going to start 1-0-6. And his comment was, well, Newcastle started really, really bad last year, and then they came and got hot. I'm like, yeah, but they got new ownership. It was new mojo into the team. They were making transfers. They were bringing people in. Like, things happened that gave them the confidence to actually get above the relegation zone. I think if nothing happens this year, we're going to be in big trouble.
CK wants to fire Gerrard, I guess. Is that what he's saying?
It does not look good.
Just keep in mind you're 9-0 defeat away from getting fired.
Yeah.
Could happen this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liverpool is this weekend? So
Yeah.
That might do it.
Then over 30s, we had a good first quarterfinals victory, 4-3 in overtime against Jack Storm, who's always a tough team. I think we gave up a couple easier goals than usual, a couple mistakes, but we were able to pull it out with the ultimately beautiful assist from Luke to Aaron for the victory in overtime.
Yeah, Luke.
Golden goal.
He was dropping dimes. He was the same pass on the first one, right, to James. That was a nice goal too. A little slide.
Yep.
Yep.
That was. I'm like, I feel like if I shoot this, then I missed, I'm going to be in big trouble. So I'm like, I just got to give it to James, and he made a great play. And then CK had the rip from the sideline, which that doesn't go in all the time, but considering he has a third heel, he had some extra weight on that shot.
Yeah, he put a little extra heel behind that one.
It was almost a corner kick. He was down there deep.
Yeah.
And then we have a week off because of Labor Day, which usually doesn't work out for us. It did last week with the forfeit the week before. But Amazon lost the 2 seed to Alba, who we got the forfeit win from because they didn't have enough players. So I don't remember their team. I think they had like blue and black jerseys, if I remember correctly, from last week. But I think they're pretty good if anybody remembers them for our semifinal matchup.
Yeah. I remember a couple of their players.
What's that, Luke?
I think they've got like light bluish jerseys.
They finished 3-3-1, -1 goal differential, or 15 goals for, 16 against.
Well, we talked about it last week on the pod. Can we do the 30s and 40s double? I think we're on track.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
I think we're in good shape.
What's a tougher win, Rakocha for us or whoever the best team is in 40s for you guys?
That top 40s team is that would be definitely a bigger upset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we can do it. We've got it. I mean, the team seems our 40s team is gelled better than it ever has in about 3 or 4 seasons since Big Bear left us in keeper. We weren't gelling them. I think the competition has gotten stronger, but so we'll see. It definitely could happen for both.
What time's kickoff tonight?
8 p.m. So we got a little earlier kickoff, which is always good.
Yeah.
CK's bringing Smith. So he's going to be short on the parking lot, but hopefully Smith can watch him score a hat trick.
Yeah. Keep the goals coming.
Yeah. I'm sure Lauren will be there. I don't know if Baldy's parents will be there because Baldy's not there, but that doesn't mean they're not.
Yeah, that doesn't rule them out.
If it's the championship, I know they're going to be there, but it's semifinals, so they might miss it.
Yeah.
The one in
There's
Jake
like a 70%
Gordon.
chance they show up.
Yeah, absolutely. If they knew Jake Gordon was in, they would definitely show up to come watch that because you only get maybe once a season to see that.
Yeah, that's special. Is Jake coming?
He's coming. He said he's in. He may have mistakenly thought it was the final.
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't tell him till afterwards.
No, I never.
He'll be asking for shirts.
Yeah. Hopefully Alex doesn't drop this live, so he might listen to it before kickoff.
In other interesting Bender news from the weekend, I think the biggest story was one Bender player losing his shirt in the parking lot, and an opposing player who some people may like, some people may not like, was nice enough to he found the jersey, reached out to Kevin, said, "Hey,"
that had to find me. I mean, it's not like we're friends. He did some social media, some research, found me, reached out via Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and said he had a Bender jersey, which we already knew from earlier in the text thread that Reimer had partied so hard in the parking lot after the overtime victory, he had put his shirt on his mirror and proceeded to drive off with it still on the mirror. So Stump is just such a great guy. He got the jersey, knew it was ours, spent the time to look me up on Facebook Messenger. And then as I'm messaging him back and forth, they got knocked out Wednesday night, but he's like, you know what? I'll come drop it by Wednesday night anyway. So there are some players on Bender that really don't like Stump, but man, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder.
Yeah, it's
Is this his attempt to try to join Bender? Is he trying to get an invite to the team?
Never gonna happen.
That's the real question. Do you think he slid the jersey off so he'd have? It's like the callback when you're on like a bad date.
He's close. That's somebody that really doesn't like him. He's not going to be in the parking lot. So if he slides in later, I don't know. He might end up wearing it.
Yeah,
we're getting new jerseys.
Yeah. He probably heard about the new jerseys he wants in. It all makes sense. Like this is not a bad plan on his part.
We didn't order any extra smalls, so
no. That's
yeah,
gentlemen. It is 1:31, and the lineups have just been released.
Be gentle. Drum roll. Where the sound effects?
He's starting. Yes.
Halaand is starting. I was so nervous.
Hat trick incoming.
Let's just start
Yeah,
bringing them
sure.
in.
Did you see he's got more or I saw a stat. I don't know if anybody else actually saw it and knew what it said, but at his age, he's got like more hat tricks than anyone else or something. Did y'all see that stat after his last?
Dude,
It was
that's
incredible.
Dude,
Because I always remember about 25% of what it really is. So
Yeah.
he is a beast.
he is, yeah.
Well, I hate to.
So we'll see.
I got to jump to a work call, and I think I'm leading this thing, so I don't know if it continues if I leave. So I hate to cut it off, but I think we could.
Well, no, make sure ours are uploaded before you cut it off.
So I'll
and we
stop
can,
the
wrap
recording in a
it up.
second, but I think we'll save the news about the USL team potentially coming to Jax for the Friday happy hour pod. I think that's a good conversation for the full team, actually.
Yeah, maybe they will lock down where they're going to build the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they're building a stadium. That's crazy.
15,000 people.
That's super exciting. That means they're here to stay.
I did the whole fan survey last night. It took me about 20 minutes, and you can select like your preference on where they build the stadium. And I put the beaches first.
I'll do it.
There was like options, so you rank them, and I put the beaches first, and then I put there's like St. Johns County, Duval County, St. Augustine, downtown. There's like different options. So anything closer to us, I put basically. So
Yeah.
you can put team names as well. I thought about throwing on a Bender as the team name, but
By the way, have we copyrighted that? Or can they? Maybe we need to look into some legal, some TM.
trailer park.
We can make some money on that logo and the hot pink logo. I mean, I think we're on to something.
I did pick up
There's
our
at
check
least-
from our sponsor this week, so we are paid
Yeah.
for the jerseys.
There's at least maybe 24 people who are very familiar with the Anna Bender logo. So that's more brand recognition than
Hey,
There's a part where you can put like what brands in the local area would you want to be sponsored or partnered with our team, and I almost put on a Bender as well there, but
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I did put our colors.
All right, love it.
So, all right,
All right, Alex,
cool.
get to
Episode
work.
38 wrapping up. Thanks for joining, and we'll regroup on Friday to go through what happens with semis for 40s and these great games today on Premier League. So,
Go Wolves.
Bender double.
don't leave.